Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. We ask Jesus that you be with us tonight. Help us to do your business and do the city's business. Give us grace, give us peace, and bless this meeting. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. In your email package, you found the minutes from your last meeting. Got a motion to? Oh, okay. We got a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Bill.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Committee meetings, chamber.
Good evening. During the summer months, the Chamber staff makes time to update our tourism listings on visitKennett.com and visitmo.com. We need the business community's help with that. Would you please, as businesses, look at your listings that we already have created for you, look for updates that need made, such as business hours, if your phone number's changed, restaurants, if your menu has changed, we can upload those. If you've had a commercial made in the past year, we can upload those things too. Anything that's going to drive traffic to your business, we want to get that visible, and it's all a service that is provided by the chamber through our contract with the city. So we want to make sure that we have that available. Also make sure that your listing is actually there. If it hasn't been updated, and sometimes those fall off. It's really easy to get back up, but we need to make sure that they're right. So we're just asking for the business community's help with that. Any business who conducts tourism activities can be listed. So a unique restaurant, someone who provides retail or lodging, we can get those out there. We also want to remind the business community about the Chamber's upcoming Grow with Google Partner Program Workshop, August 19th, from 12 to 2 at the Presbyterian Activity Center. This is a free service that we're providing to the business community about how to get your business online and drive efficiency. In this workshop, we're bringing in an actual Google employee to be the speaker, so that's rare for this part of the country. We really want people to take advantage of that. He will teach us how to use online tools and the data that's already provided to you for free, how to read that data and implement it to bring more customers to either your online business or your brick and mortar store. We feel like that's going to be really valuable for our business community, and we definitely want you to be there and not miss out. The event is free and lunch is included, but you have to register. You can do that on KennettMo.com. We have a link, or just get with me and I'll get your email address and I can sign you up. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Finance Committee?
I don't have anything tonight.
Fire?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Human Resources?
Nick's not
Nick's
here.
not here. Humane Department?
We would like to have a quick closed session
Okay.
about potential hire.
All right. Police?
Steve's not here. Nick's not here.
Not here either, okay. Street?
Yes, of course. Of course. We've got the ordinance that Terry squared away for the three-way stop on Union Street coming up tonight. We are looking at working with the police department on their speed sign and trying to figure out if we can get, they've got two of them, but one of them doesn't work for sure, not sure on the other one. Anyway, we're going to try to avoid purchasing if we can, but we'd like to get, we'll bring that back to y'all later, a speed sign, something, a radar sign that indicates your speed, to put in a couple places in Kennett and keep it moving a little bit. We'll see what we can get worked out on that. See, we also gonna need a motion on the street sweeper. We got a real good deal on the street sweeper. They're going to give us $15,000 for our current street sweeper, and we've got a sweeper with 13 hours on it, and it has all the bells and whistles and all that. They're taking a little bit of a, well, they're reducing the price from $269,000. By the time they give us everything, it's down to $235,000. We've got a little over $200,000 already in the account. We can go a year without having to pay anything on it. so, and we're in dire need of getting this thing done. To keep our drainage system working, and it will come predominantly, the rest of it's gonna come out of stormwater. So,
Make a motion that we proceed.
I'll second that.
okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes.
The other thing that I've got, I'm not sure what exactly is taking place, but I don't know if changes are being made in the contract on downtown, on the St. Francis Street project. I know there's boxes were not replaced or worked on. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. If they are making changes in the contract, it needs to come to the council for approval. And so I don't know who we talk to about it and how we find out what's going on about it.
Talk with Mets.
And then we also, I'm not sure that we need to have the business, the people along the route having their business stuff done at the same time the city stuff being done. Because that may get a little bit tangled up in what we've got contractually with them as well. And so,
For instance, what do you mean? Like who in particular?
anybody, I mean, it seems like to me that we're paying them for the project, and we get the project done first, and then they go back in and get the stuff for the businesses along the way.
That are gonna pay Lampy themselves?
I'm sorry?
That are gonna pay Lampy themselves?
Yes, yes. And that way we know that it's sticking straight to what we need to have done. But
I spoke with them yesterday, and they were ahead of project scheduling, and so they had made, the question to me is, while they were there, because if you notice, when the business is there, you're almost basically shut down while they're going across there. So if you're also having your parking lot done at the same time, even though that cost is on the property owner themselves, they're going to have to be shut down for 2 to 3 weeks then, instead of 1 week. So with them being ahead of schedule, they checked with Mets and Mitzi and asking, could this be done? And they said, as long as you're ahead of schedule, yes.
Okay.
Will we see the invoices and receipts for the monies paid so that we can make sure that everything's, being billed properly?
On the individual property owners?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what is being done on city-wise is city, and what's
Sure.
discussed between, those, for the property owners, they don't have to pay prevailing wage because it's not a government
Small
issue.
enough project.
I think what he's asking is we want to make sure that we're not paying for it, we're ready to build more, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm asking.
And I think that's a decent idea.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. We don't want to pay for something that we're not getting. I understand that.
I recognize that it's convenient when the business is being impeded by, having the entrance torn up, but it just seems to me it'd be prudent for the city to make sure that the city was not being billed. And if we could, the only way I know to do that would be to see the invoice that was submitted to the business and the check, canceled check, or whatever payment was made attached to that invoice, just so that we could make sure that we're not being, that we're not paying for something that.
Do you have a list of people that are having them do stuff?
No. I don't know anything about it. I just have the question.
Is there anybody?
Yeah,
there's
it'd be
some-
pretty obvious, because, you see the new concrete.
Yeah.
It's like if they decided not to put a pipe in someplace, then we save money on the pipe. We need to know that we.
Sure.
That's why it's gotta come to the council on it, or if they decide not to replace a box or whatever, stuff that save less money as we go, so. But then again, it could be they make a change and budget more. That's fine too, but we don't know.
Sure.
I just think as stewards of the city's money that we should do this.
Yeah.
I agree, Mr. Freeman, on that.
I agree.
Good, I'll get with them and, have them show the particular invoice for each location.
And then let us know if there's any contractual changes.
Yeah.
Because if there is, we gotta get it voted on and done. Because otherwise, we've got, Mr. McVeigh, wouldn't that be correct? We gotta,
Well, the city would have to approve any contract changes.
yeah, which means virtually anything.
Yeah.
So if there's a variation, we gotta get it voted on.
Well, let's back up. We wouldn't need to vote on every change, every change order. That would not be, that would not be feasible. And time-wise, it would not be feasible, because you're not gonna be, every change order, you can't wait 2 weeks to get them approved. But the city, it has to come somewhere in the city to have it approved, and of course, it would have to be available to the council.
I know Metz and I talked last week about one particular building, because their building is so close to the road that we may have to, and it'll be a cost savings event for the city, is not do that one partial block because of how close their building is to the city, because it's within what they're doing there. And if we put a sidewalk there, then all of his customers will be parking full-time on the sidewalk, and you're wasting the use of the sidewalk. So there's one aspect there that we need to be bringing and have those come up.
Help us
So-
out. That's all I've got.
All right. Then stormwater, same thing.
We're good.
That's okay. Department reports, fire department.
Mayor, council members, report tonight, just a little bit of heads up about what's going on in our world. On fire reports, we recently, within the past 2 weeks, had a vacant structure fire over East 5th next to the street department. It's pretty well suspicious in nature, vacant home. But again, working with the police department, and don't know what success will be as far as determining the actual cause, but again, it is suspicious in nature. No electric to the business, to the residents, or anything of that nature. Just a little heads up, on the medical side of things, we're starting to deal with repeat calls for lift assist in certain residences. And that's kind of been a concern that's been shared by the fire department and Medic One. And again, it's nothing that the city council too worried about it, but again, I'm throwing this out there to you that there's some concerns on the medical side of things that we do sometimes that do come up, and this is one of them. We'll be working with Medic One and trying to find out a common ground as far as how to deal with these calls. Again, it's nothing that requires 911, that does not require transport. It's merely just needing help up due to the individual's personal needs. So again, I'll throw that to you, just heads up about what's going on there. Good news with the recent rains. We've had no fireworks related incidents as of yet. Now, I won't be speaking on Kenny's part. Kenny may have a different outlook on it, but yeah, as far as the fire department's concerned, right now everything's been going fairly smooth with it. And again, no incidents because of it. We did determine a cost training factor as far as our CPR program that we have now with the fire department, our training department over there. It'll be $45 per person requiring CPR training. And again, that's for someone that needs the certification card through the American Heart Association. And that is $45 is kind of a very common cost affiliated with a lot of folks around here that do teach CPR. For the nurses or someone with more advanced care that their needs, we will be able to offer advanced cardiac life support and pediatric life support at a cost of $100. So again, we do have various nurses that come to us occasionally needing refreshing CPR or needing that certification, and we'll be able to offer that for them. So again, I did have on here contact 888-5337. That is our administration office for times. And again, we are expecting to set up a time for some free CPR classes for those not needing certification, but just want to learn it, and that is in the works. But again, this is what we've got done so far. Emergency management. We have created a new Facebook page. Kennett Office of Emergency Management. What we're doing there is we're going to disseminate some information regarding weather watches, which is, we get that through the National Weather Service. And we've got it worked out to where that's going to carry over to our website. Give a little bit of news, insight on tips on safety factors that the public just some crazy information here. We had one photo on there. I don't know if some of you have looked at it yet, but I would appreciate it that you do get it if you're on Facebook. We have one photo of a trampoline in some wires. It generated over 38,000 views. So, I mean, we want to get Kennett's name out there, and hopefully for nothing bad, but still you get 38,000 views. That's a lot of scrolling someone's doing throughout the day. Anyway, we're very pleased with how that's going, and hope to continue with that. Mow Crew. Mow Crew is busy. Rain has been rough for them. Again, they're doing the best they can with things. I know there were some things last council meeting, we talked about the property along the golf course. I believe there was some questions about that. Mr. Westerfield, Street Department, we've been talking, and we've decided we are going to kind of get together and kind of work on some things. Try to make that more of an efficient department overall as far as getting our grass taken care of. So,
How many mowers do you have?
right now we have 4.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we only have 2. We have 2 running staff right now, 29 hours a week, and we just added 3rd. Jerry Wills is coming on board with us. He starts next week, and he's going to be working up to 29 hours as well. These are part-time positions.
You think it's going to help you out?
It should, but again, with all the rain and humidity, it's just, it's crazy weather out there. We all know that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're doing the best that they can. Again, we've talked with the street. Maybe they're going to be able to help us out some. And just let me know that we are trying to be on top of it. But again, people and staffing is an issue as far as keeping everything mowed to everyone's satisfaction.
You got anything that sprays Roundup?
They do have spray, yes.
Okay.
They try to limit as far as where they spray, anywhere near a residence. You know, we've talked about the sidewalk situation along up on the square.
Same thing.
You know, do we want to be spraying Roundup on areas up there? Yeah, things to talk about. So, but yeah, we do have Roundup.
Okay.
We do have a Roundup budget. Trust me, it's there. Code enforcement. The city right now we have 7 fireworks stands operating. So we've got everyone up and running with that. We thought we may have had a few hiccups, but we did have everything resolved, and everyone seems to be happy with the way the operations are run. I've stopped by several this past few weeks. Last week, I stopped by several of them, and everything seems to be running well.
How many did we have last year?
7.
So it's been 7 every year.
Mhm.
Didn't increase.
Yeah. We had a few recent complaints about swimming pools and swimming pool ordinances. With our ordinance, with codes, I say with ordinances, probably in the codes, you must have a minimum of a 4-foot fence around any type of swimming pool. Again, Donnie has noted over the past 2 weeks, he's had about 4 phone calls so far over that. And I've authorized him to get with the news media and possibly get something out there about swimming pool compliance. Be good information for a lot of folks that don't know. Finally, something I've discussed with the city clerk is in the issue of business license. If there's an event comes up for whatever reason that, who enforces business licenses? And again, this is nothing for tonight, but again, it's a discussion that me and Brenda's had. And we've also talked to Terry just somewhat, just to give him a heads up that we're going to kind of be looking at this. It was a question by both of our departments as far as who enforces it and to what extent. So I would appreciate a little talk, between now and the next council meeting, that, a little insight of what you all think needs to be done with, as far as the business license for different events that go on with those. So again, we've had some recent issues and it has been discussed.
What do you mean by events?
Well, we had one situation as far as a safety concern from the codes. They did not meet the code status, proper codes. And it was, what do we do with them? We've never been faced with, and I hate to use the word close a business, but I mean, it is just that. What do we do in the event that a business does not have proper safety codes? Do we fine them?
Is it brick and mortar all the time kind of business, or is it just something that comes in and flies out?
Well, that's just it. We kind of thought we might need to put something, I say in writing, there may be something in writing, but how do we deal with these type of things?
Well,
That's a Terry question.
Yeah, and really, as we discussed, if it's a safety issue especially, like what we had last week because it was a fireworks stand.
Yes.
And did not comply with the code, and that's a very present danger.
Yes.
And when there's a very present danger like that, I think the fire department, especially if it's that type of violation, that the fire department has the authority to go in and close the doors. When, again, if it's not an immediate threat to safety of the public, then citation and fine it. It just depends. It depends on the situation, and that's and lots of times everybody wants to have a white line. If this happens, then this happens. Well, it doesn't always. The white line sometimes gets gray. Of course, that's where I come in. Because I can smudge the white line real well. But, I think we just have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Very appreciate that. So,
Question, who can then apply the citation?
Oh, I think police departments, fire department, or
Can the fire department do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I know that was the whole issue about report or ticket books. I remember that. That was one of the things when I first got on here. Remember that?
Yes,
Who had ticket books and who could write tickets and whatever.
Do you currently have a ticket book?
no, the ticket book we have is strictly for illegal burns. And again, we knew there probably need to be some changes made. And again, this is opening up some communication here. But right now, ours is primarily dealing with, the fire codes is primarily dealing with illegal burns. Code enforcement, on the other hand, property maintenance, that's a little bit different story.
Does he have a ticket book?
I don't know if you call it a ticket book.
And that's something we do need to discuss, because the way the court system is now, and what they like is for everything to be filed, an information filed on a uniform citation, which is a ticket book, once you get out the ticket book. And that's something we probably have to get together with the police department, who has ticket books available, and maybe have one issue to the fire department, or one issue to for the fire department or for code enforcement, so that any citation is written on the uniform citation, and the information on the uniform citation, which is what our court system, what the court system wants us to do now. So that's something we probably need to get together on and get that worked out.
Thank you. Any questions for?
No questions, but I would like to give a personal thanks to the department. I believe it was last Sunday, we had a bad storm rolled in, the same day that the trampoline ended up in the wires. My grandfather's house is on 700 block Park Street, and he could smell something burning, and he called me, and it was still pouring down rain. I was able to get a hold of Jimmy Don, and he beat me there, and Matt Jones, a couple other guys, they showed up, and come to find out, they searched the whole house and found a surge protector that had shorted out in his office, that if they would not have found it, there's a very good possibility he would have lost his house. It was just sitting there smoldering underneath the desk. And the infrared camera that Matt brought in, it found it. So I would like to give a personal thanks for that. And I also have a question. Did Donnie mention anything to you about the 700 block of Park Street?
No.
He's gonna need one of those books. And a box of ink pens.
Mr. McEwen, he probably has it already. Again, if he hasn't, we'll make sure that he does. But yeah, just because, trust me, he is on the road. He is on the road continuously.
He told me that he could not believe what he had seen there that day. He also was in the area at the office, and he came by.
Yes.
And it was pretty bad.
Well, I'll definitely pass it along to make sure that if he hasn't done anything, he'll at least look at it. But yeah, I'm sure if he went by there the other day that he'll definitely be doing something with it. It's been pretty good.
I'm hoping that something can get resolved over there, because it was more like the Jeff Foxworthy thing. You mow your yard and find a car. You mow this one, you're going to find a house. And I think that's something that should have been addressed a long, long time ago, since it's that close to the office and right there next to one of the city parks.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll pass it along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get her in.
There was one that was pretty.
Well, when the grass is high as the doorknob on the house, I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
it's, yeah.
Something
Is it
needs to-
abandoned house? Yep. All right.
It's hard to tell.
You might find a Mustang GT out there. All right, Humane Department.
This month has been, past month, is a little slower than normal with pickups and with sending them out. It's always slow due to like vacations and stuff. People don't want to adopt, or rescues are slower. But we did take in 30 dogs for the month of June. We returned 7 to the owners. We had to euthanize one that was discussed with Judge Mallor. We thought that was in the best interest of the public. And we also had 3 that passed in our care custody. One was from Parvo, one was hit by a car, and one was birthing, and she didn't make it. But at the end of the month, we have a total of 25 dogs. 23 are adults and 2 puppies. So we still stayed ahead. And this month, we did our furthest transfer to rescue, and we just picked up a new rescue in Rhode Island that came down and picked up. So it was headed out last Saturday.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Police?
All right, last council meeting, I'll give you an update on our radio system. Most of the engineers were here again last week, trying to help us find out exactly what's going on with the system. They actually got to hear last week what we've been hearing for the last couple of years. And they agreed we definitely have a problem, but they couldn't give us a solid answer as to why we're having the trouble that we're having. So we're still gonna go ahead and move forward with moving the antennas. We got just about everything in except for a couple of the connectors. We're just waiting on them to get in. And Marty Johnson and his crew said, like gas and water are gonna go up and they're gonna move the antennas for us. The other day, they actually climbed up on the roof and looked at some of the connectors, and some of them are actually falling apart in their hands. And actually where they crimped the wires to the connectors was coming apart already. So that could be part of our problem. We just don't know. Won't know until that's done. one thing that motion engineers did recommend that we do is eliminate the link at Fire Station 1. The radios at that link are pretty much obsolete. You can't even buy parts for them anymore. They're really old. What they're wanting to do is just completely eliminate it and interface the radio with our Daniels repeater that we have at the admin building. Big problem there is to work on the Daniels repeater. The closest one we can come up with that can work on it is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So either they've got to come up here and work on it, or we're going to take the repeater to them, which means for about 48 hours, we're going to have to figure out some way to be able to communicate with the officers. We've got a couple ideas in mind. We'll give them the right people to figure out how we can make that happen until we get that repeater back. They really think, due to the age of that link and the equipment with it, that could be a big part of our problem. But we're just going to do this one step at a time. We'll wait and see what separating the antennas, put new wiring and stuff up there. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help us out a lot. But they really think this link is something that needs to be eliminated. So once I get costs, I'll bring the costs back to the council and we'll decide there the best way to go. As you guys remember, last council meeting we got a request from Mark Skelton on Ely Road, asking us to put up stop signs and slow down cars. The next morning after that council meeting, I went down there and set myself, and I saw for myself and made several stops. Since that time, the last council meeting, there's been over 60 traffic stops made on the Ely Road, Independence, Starnes, Gladys, all that, just in that area right there. So they definitely have a problem. We can't spend all day, every day down there, but to me, that's quite a few stops the officers made just in the time that they were down there. So hopefully putting up stop signs may help. I just don't know. But we'll continue to monitor that even after the stop signs are up and make our presence down there. Maybe have to write a few tickets on that and just get people to start looking at that stop sign.
It's been noticed by the people in the street there. They've seen y'all out there, they appreciate it.
I've had some people that live in that area just walk up to me while I'm there, you know, thanking us for being there. You know, so they appreciate it. So hopefully we've done a little bit of good. We have gotten a number of calls about the misuse of fireworks. One thing I would like to remind everyone is that if you're going to shoot fireworks, shoot them in a safe manner. We don't want anybody getting hurt. Main thing is we want everybody to have safe and fun 4th of July. The last thing we want is some type of injury or major property damage. I think there's been some minor property damage reported. Mainly just kids being mischievous, but still, we don't want to see anybody live at home or anything like that because somebody doing something stupid. The last thing I have is Kenneth Communications. They're wanting to start a fundraiser. Label it basically Christmas in July. You can go to Kenneth 911 Communications Facebook page and get the particulars on the items they're going to be accepting. It's mainly clothing and stuff like this. They're going to partner with the Kenneth Caring Council and the Division of Family Services and put all these items that are donated back into the community. Our communications supervisor, Rachel Bowles, came up with this idea, and she's just kind of taking off and running with it, and I think it's going to be good. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll be getting those things back out in the community. So just be sure and visit their webpage, or Facebook page, I'm sorry, their Facebook page. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'd like to thank y'all for this opportunity. And you'd think in 2 days I wouldn't have a whole lot to say, but we got a little bit going on here. We need to ask y'all to approve the purchase of 580 30-inch pipe to go on 3rd Street, where we left off at the box to go out to the ditch. I think they talked about it in council meeting here a while back, where we still got issues with the pipe that's there now. It's still deteriorating, and that'll finish that out. The cost is going to be $15,242.40, which will come out of stormwater.
Is that part of the money that we approved?
It should be part of the 90,000 to do the job. Yes, that'll pay for the pipe and the labor from the Robertson.
Yeah. Okay.
And the only thing we'll have left will be in the fall, when City Light Water gets finished with 5th Street. They're going to have blacktop company come and overlay Fifth Street. They're gonna pay for that. And at that time, we will have them finish Third Street,
Okay.
which will come out of transportation tax.
Okay.
And while we're talking about that, City Light and Water is right now waiting on the water table to go down to start on Fifth Street. The water table is, if they start on it now, it's gonna flood when they're working, which is a safety issue because the sandy soil we have is just gonna fall off in there. For them to start right now will be a big added expense for them to come and do it. And they're hoping in a couple of weeks they'll be able to start. They were actually supposed to have started by now, and they said they actually do have a timetable that if the water table doesn't go down, they're gonna go ahead and start anyway and just have to pay the extra.
Do we know where the water table is now?
I forgot what he said, but he said if they start digging at the depth they're gonna have to go, it's gonna be 2 feet of water in the bottom of the hole, so.
Back to the 15,242, if that was part of the 90 that it's already been approved, we don't need to authorize anything tonight. It's already included in that
Okay.
original amount.
Okay, all right. Then we'll go ahead and get that ordered, and hopefully they'll be able to start that pretty soon. I think they said they had contract and everything. We got some paperwork to take care of today, or yesterday with Miss Brenda. Asphalt Third Street. We had an issue at Third and Hopper. One of our intersections, it was done in the first part of Third Street. City and Water had a water main break and our street actually started falling. And we noticed it a week or so ago, I guess, that it had dropped about 2 inches. Yeah, we really didn't know why, because even if you packed it some, it shouldn't drop 2 inches. So City Light and Water eventually went over there and found a water leak. Gerald was over there putting some signs up, or working on marking some signs, and heard water running in the drain, and it hadn't rained in 2 or 3 days. So he kind of was wondering what was going on, got to investigating it, and he found water running in both of our drains. So they dug it up, and there is video out there. I've got something, somebody wants to see it. When they dug it up, they had about 15 feet water spout there. They took care of it. They are going to pay Knuckles Brothers to come back and redo the intersection. Knuckles Brothers, that is actually something else. They are working right now on, they've done some work at College, at going into Gargus, they've got that done. And at College and Bellmead, they've got that done. They are currently on Main Street. They've got the west side of Main done. They're working on the east side, and they're probably 3/4 of the way done now. I'm assuming they've got it set up so they're gonna try to pour it probably tomorrow. He said they'll have it done this week, but I think they'll try to pour it tomorrow and have that done. It is currently open to traffic. It's not shut down all the way.
How far south on Main are they going?
Just to where it is right now. It's right before Cheryl Crow, just a little ways. Wherever that one lane stops on the west side, that's it. And then they're going to go from there to do Hopper Street and get it done, since it was, Third Street was already done before. They're gonna go do that. City Light Water can pay them to redo that, which is, well, they're gonna have to tear out more than what the hole is right now, because the street actually dropped. They're gonna have to go back to the joints to get it all leveled up. After that, they're gonna come back and finish some work for us. They've got 3 or 4 more intersections they're gonna have to do. And then they'll be finished with that part of it. I wanna thank y'all for okaying the purchase of the sweeper. That's something we've been needing for a long time. Every time we run our other sweeper, we have issues with it just about. And they were actually, we think they're giving us a really good deal on the old sweeper. So it's I don't know how much y'all know about it, but it's a demo model with 13 hours on it. It's loaded. We could have ordered a new one for probably the same price. It was stripped down, basically not as much on it. And Paul was talking about the grass cutting and everything. We had a crew out this morning cutting through town, trimming around the square and block off the square. And they've gone, how far, where did they start? I don't know where they started. They've gone all to the square, east and west, and they're gonna be out in the morning doing the same thing, and we're gonna have roundup. We got a man gonna be there at 6 o'clock in the morning with a truck cutting everything they've cut. So hopefully it won't be back anytime soon. I think that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions or anything about oh, well, one other thing, y'all mentioned the storm coming through here a while back. That Friday, Gerald went out and picked up some limbs after hours it had blown down, and then Sunday, Gerald and three other people went out for 4 hours and had to move some trees and pick up some limbs out of the road. We had actually pretty good sized trees they had to cut up and get out of the way. But other than that, if y'all got any questions about the council report or anything, if not, that's all I've got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Finished business? Don't have anything to do?
Yeah, the ordinance.
Yeah, the ordinance.
No, golf cart ordinance.
We'll get there. You got it? No.
We should talk about it.
Which one you want to do first?
That matter to me.
Whichever one you got on top.
Okay. This will be the ordinance for the stop signs on Ely Street. First reading is an ordinance amending Schedule 9 of Section 335.040 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kennett, Missouri to provide for the placement of stop signs at the intersection of Ely Street and Starnes Street to stop traffic traveling east and west on Ely Street. There's already a stop sign on Starnes, so it makes it a three-way stop.
Motion.
Second. Motion second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second reading, an ordinance amending Schedule 9 of Section 335.040 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kennett, Missouri to provide for the placing of stop signs at the intersection of Ely Street and Starnes Street to stop traffic traveling east and west on Ely Street.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
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 All in favor? Now we have a second ordinance.
This is an ordinance to rezone a piece of property at 107 North Everett Street. It used to be a house there that burned a few years ago, and it's now been cleaned up by the present owner, Mr. Wainick, and want to ask that it be rezoned from R1 single family to B2 general business. And it does border B2 general business, so it's not spot zoning. First reading is an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 single family residential to B2 general business, all of Lot 1 and the east 38 feet of Lot 2, Block 1, Hunter's addition to the City of Kennett, Dunklin County, Missouri.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second reading, an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 single family residential to B2 general business, all of Lot 1 and the east 38 feet of Lot 2, Block 1, Hunter's addition to the City of Kennett, Dunklin County, Missouri.
Motion.
Roll call.
Aye. I'd like to go last.
Aye.
Yeah, you'll abstain.
Yeah.
Aye. Fair.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll talk to you after a while.
All in favor? All right, well, motion carried. All right. New business.
Passed all except Bill.
Okay. All right. There's an approval for a bid for an IT maintenance contract. That this is from Brad Floyd, there we go.
.com.
Yeah. And is there the finance committee is looked over?
Yeah, we'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. second?
second.
All in favor? I don't have the, is everybody ready? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There we go. All right, that we already did. Approval, okay. All right, with talks with the, for insurance over the past 2 weeks, Mr. Gerald actually brought this up in a street department meeting. I'll put you on the spot. And so I decided to go and run with it. Most places of employment nowadays have health savings accounts. And this would end up being something that is zero cost to the city. But I talked with Mandy over at Southern Bank, and she is more than willing to set up HSA accounts for the citizens, or for the city of Kennett employees. What you'll end up having to do is we'll send out an email. You can fill it out, take that over to Southern Bank, and then they will fill out the rest of the information that they need. You'll get a signature, and then you can bring that back to Leslie, and then it'll be an automatic deduction before taxes. So you can pay for your eyeglasses, your dental, different aspects that you can with an HSA account with untaxed dollars. So it should end up being a cost saving for our employees, but it'll also and have a benefit to it. But this will also have zero cost on us. It'll take Leslie just a few minutes to be able to set that up, and each one of the employees can discuss on how much they would like to have taken out. Do they want $20 a paycheck taken out? They want $100 a paycheck taken out. Whatever they want. But an individual, which is most of our insurance, can put up to $3,700 per year into that account, and then you can use that. It will accrue every year. You'll never lose it. If you decide to take employment someplace else, you can take it with you. It's not something that the city will keep. And some of old, you may know that they sort of lost. If they didn't use it by December 31st, they lost it. This is not it. That it will just keep accruing. So every year you can put $3,700 in there, and with the deductibles, you got a $1,500 deductible or a $5,000 deductible. You're going to have some money in there, so it's always nice to pay that with untaxed dollars. So we brought that up, and we did need approval from the council to be able to offer that to our employees.
Make a motion.
I was gonna say, does that need to be made in the form of a motion?
I'll second that.
So we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So a new benefit for our employees. All right, mayor's report. That was actually going to be part of mine. But as being mayor, I know there's going to be ups and downs. Thursday was one of the downs. We had a code enforcement, fire chief, engineer, contractor, and a landowner that weren't happy. And we worked together, got a good time, and Friday morning, got everybody into a room, got some donuts in there, some coffee and water going, and within a few minutes, it was one of the things that say, it was good to get everybody together. And, Mr. Paul was there, and it's just, instead of making, a small step forward, we were able to make a large step forward, get everybody on the same page. And it was one of those times when I walked out of that meeting, it was just like, hey, it's good to be in this city. I know those may be far and few between, but hopefully there's a few every now and then. But, with talking with the individuals afterwards, everybody was happy. And that made things nice. So it's, as things come up, street department, we've already started, heading on some to the, problems that have been in the past, and hopefully sitting down together in a group, we're gonna get those things worked out on, where's the property line? Where does city stop on the street, and where does county pick up? And as we hit each one of those roads that go in and out of town, we want to be able to make sure that we've got the legal aspect of it, and everybody's up. It's just because, well, it's always been right here. Well, just because it's always been right there may not be the right answer. So So that's just, some of the things that I look forward to in the near future, and some of that, this all happened last week, and it was good to be married, and be able to get down and get those aspects together. So, but besides that, do we have any public comment? There's nobody here from the public.
No, Chancellor Wayne's not here tonight.
Yeah, I always thought it was like, it might just be like number 9.1, So, all right, we have one motion to go into a closed session, so we
Real Stewart?
Second.
so all in favor?
Roll
Roll call.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.